everyone. Today we are going to discuss poem number 2 of Flamingo, which is a textbook for standard 12 English. Poem number 2 is an elementary school classroom in a slum, and this is written by Stephen Spender. Stephen Spender, the poet, was an English poet and essayist. And if you have watched the video on Poets and Pancakes, you will surely remember his name mentioned. Yes, that is the same Stephen Spender that was mentioned in that chapter. Okay. Now this poem talks about the themes of social injustice and class inequality, and it questions the value of education in slums. Right. So this is what the poem's theme is about. We'll go through this poem stanza wise and let us go through it. Here. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces look like rootless weeds. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces look like rootless weeds. Now these children's faces, those children who belong to the slum, their faces are not at all energetic, or they don't show any kind of energy. They are far, far from gusty waves. That means a child should be gusty, full of energy. So instead of having energetic waves in them which should be radiating from children, these slum children, they look like rootless weeds. Now what are weeds? Weeds are unwanted plants, right? And these are rootless weeds because society does not want to accept them. These slum children, they do not belong to anywhere. Nowhere in the society are they accepted. So they are like rootless weeds that have no energy. The hair torn round their pallor. The hair torn round their pallor. Now the pallor talks about the pale color of their faces. Their faces are pale, almost lifeless, and the hair is torn. Torn is like completely shabby and scattered. The tall girl with her weighed down head. Now in the class there is one tall girl. Her head is weighed down. That means it's stooped down. What could be the reason for her head to be down? Well, first of all, she's very poor, right? There is nothing for her in this world to be proud of. So she's very poor. She comes from a miserable background. So that could be one of the reasons. And secondly, since she's poor, probably she doesn't get enough to eat, right? And she has no energy. So that could be another reason why her head could be down. The paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes. Another person in the classroom is the paper-seeming boy. There is a boy who is thin like paper. Okay, so evidently he is half-starved, doesn't get enough to eat, and is so thin that he looks like paper. Okay, and his eyes are like rat's eyes. Now how are a rat's eyes? They're always darting from here to there. The rat keeps on looking in every direction all the time. It is afraid, it is timid, it is alarmed, and the reason is it is scared for its life, first of all, and secondly also because it is trying to search for food in any corner that it could find. So that is how the boy is too. Okay. The stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lessons from his desk. Now this boy, he is an unlucky heir of twisted bones. His father, this boy, he is an heir. He has inherited from his father a disease. This disease is such that his bones are twisted. They are gnarled. Okay. This is what he has received as an inheritance from his father. And he recites. Now what does he recite? Reciting a father's gnarled disease of his lesson from his desk. So he is reciting two things over here. If you see the lines thoroughly, you see reciting a father's gnarled disease. So yes, what his father has, that is what the same thing he is reciting or is repeating. That's the same thing he himself has. So that's a repetition from his father's disease. But also what he is reciting is his lessons from his desk. So recitation here refers to two different things. One is the disease and one is the lesson from his desk. At the back of the dim class, one, unnoted, sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game. In tree room, other than this. And at the back of the class, there is one child which is unnoted. Nobody is noticing him because he is at the back of the class. Okay, and he's sweet and young. He's not, the one like the other children whose heads are down or who are very afraid and timid. This one is a sweet and young child, okay, but he is unnoticed because he's sitting at the back. And how is he sweet and young and unnoticed? His eyes live in a dream. Now this child, he lives in a dream. What is the dream? Outside probably he is looking at a tree, right, in which a squirrel is playing a game. Now squirrels are going from out of the hole in the tree. So the hole in the tree has been called the tree room, and the squirrel is darting in and out, so that is the squirrel's game. Okay, so that tree room is a room other than the classroom, and it is something that the child dreams of. Okay, he's living in that tree. On sour cream walls, donations. Shakespeare's had cloudless at dawn, civilized dome riding all cities. Now, how is the classroom? Here is a description of the classroom, that the classroom has sour cream walls. The walls of the classroom are the color of sour cream, that is yellowish white. So they are painted probably some long time back. They might have been painted white, and now they have dulled out and become yellowish white. They are adorned with donations. Now, every often people go and give charity. Rich people, they once in a while they go on to a slum area, they want to give some donation, they want to do some charity, so they do that. So the walls of the classroom, they are adorned with donations. One of the things over there is Shakespeare's hat, that means a portrait of Shakespeare. Cloudless at dawn. So Shakespeare head is bold. In that portrait, his head is bold. So it is cloudless at dawn, like the rising sun at the time of dawn, in the time of early morning. It is like that, completely bald. Civilized dome riding all cities, and it is coming over the cities like a civilized dawn, because Shakespeare is he's a symbol of education and knowledge and literature and all that. So his head is a symbol of a dome that is riding over cities, and it is a civilized dome. Okay. Another thing is Flowery Tyrolese Valley. Another painting or another picture is that of the Tyrolese Valley, that is some place in Austria, which is very beautiful. It has a lot of churches and it has a lot of flowers. So belled is because churches have bells, and flowery because it has a lot of flowers. So this is a beautiful scenery in a picture of the valley of the Tyrolese Valley, which is a valley in Austria. It is quite a famous place. Open-handed map, awarding the world its world. Yes, this one needs to be paid attention to. There is also a map. Now the map has been called open-handed. What is the reason for that? See, the thing is that people who are in power, they can change the map through their power, through wars, through politics. They can change the world map, and the borders of the countries can be changed by them through that power, right? So it is an open-handed map. That means the dictators or the powerful rulers of the world, they can draw the map as they please, because it is up to them what the borders of the cities and countries of the world would look like. Okay, so open-handed map, awarding the world its world. Now, who rules the world? It is the powerful people, it is the rich people, it is the politicians and the dictators and all these people, right? Powerful people, they rule the world. So the world is awarded to the people of the world. And who are those people of the world who control the world, who rule the world? It is those powerful and rich people. Okay, so for the powerful and the rich people, the world is awarded. That means the world is full of opportunities. And yet, for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, where all their futures painted with a fog. Now the thing is, on the walls of the school, of the classroom in the slum school, there is Shakespeare's portrait, there is this beautiful painting or picture of the Tyrolese Valley, there is this world map. But for these children, those things do not really exist in real life. Shakespeare, Who's that, right? They've never seen any illiterate person or any person with such beautiful words in their real life, right? For these children, these windows, not these maps, their world. For these children, the world is what is outside their window. And what is outside their window? It is simply the slum. Okay, they have never in their real life seen Shakespeare. They have never in their real life seen the Tyrolese Valley. Okay, they have never seen anything other than the slum. For them, the slum is their real world, not this what is shown on the maps. Okay, and outside these windows, what is there? Where all their futures painted with a fog. Their future is not beautiful, belled or flowery like the Tyrolese Valley. It does not have those grand borders like there are on the world map. For them, the world is painted with fog. That means their world is so limited. They do not have those opportunities. They cannot go beyond because the society does not accept them, and they do not get the opportunities that other people get. So their world is painted with fog. Fog is, their world is gloomy. Okay, there is not much hope in their world. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky. For them, the world is a narrow street because their slum is based on a narrow street. The world is a narrow street which is sealed in with a lead sky. Even the sky which is visible from the slum area is a lead sky. It is a dull and gloomy dark sky. Okay, it does not promise any opportunities. It does not promise a bright tomorrow. Okay. Far, far from rivers, caves, and stars of words. Words that are taught in school, in the classroom. Words tell them that beyond the slum, there are rivers. Beyond the slum, there are caves. You know, caves, mountain caves. The tops of the mountains that are filled with snow. There are caves of mountains and there are stars. These are words for the children. These are not a reality for these children. For the children, the only reality is what is outside their window, and outside their window is a bleak street and a bleak sky, and that's it. Okay, so we end here for the first part of this poem. Thank you. Wait for the second part, please.